What's going on YouTube? It's Balthazar3457, and welcome to my Blood Death Knight guide for how to solo the Prophet Skeram, the first boss in AQ40. Ironically, this was actually easier back before the change to talents. This is after the 4.01 patch, but before Cataclysm, so and look at that epic DK rune regeneration bug in the top left going on there. Awesome. But anyway, this was actually easier before the talent points were changed because Rune Tap healed you for more, and you got to keep Mark of Blood. But you're not allowed to do that anymore, so I figured I'd make another guide and yeah, show people how it's done. Now, the first and foremost is the mind control. The mind control effect is, well, it's why you shouldn't have a ghoul out during this fight, and why soloing it is actually better than having a small group to do this boss. Another effect contributing to that is skipping blood worms in your talent build. There is actually a way to do this fight with a pet out, or two-man the fight properly. And you'll notice that I summon a ghoul and heal myself with it in this video. But, like I said, that's also somewhat RNG intensive, and this fight is RNG and lag intensive in general. So it's advisable just to skip the talents and do it without them, rather than risk the RNG effect screwing you over, even though there's a way to do it with the Blood Worms talent. Now, first and foremost is your survival cooldowns. Notice that I don't have any nature resist gear on during this fight at all. I have a lesser flask of magic resistance, but that's really just a convenience, and I'm not wearing any nature resist gear, and I'll show you the gear that I'm wearing after the fight is over. Now, notice that I unequipped my weapon just now. We have already passed the first split, and the reason I unequip my weapon is because dealing damage to the boss isn't the priority. Healing myself up is the priority at this point. Also, there's a current bug going on with DKs where runes can be, and it's being demonstrated right now in the top left, runes can get frozen, essentially, for up to 10 to 20 seconds. And this is such a crippling bug, and it's been in the game for quite a while now. You actually have to adjust your playstyle to compensate for this glitch. And what you want to do to adjust to it is you want to make sure you have as many runes, preferably death runes, up as possible when the splits come about. That way you can apply Plague Strike on every split and the boss, because that's the ultimate goal. Plague Strike on each of them. That way you can Death Strike any one of them in any order and heal yourself from it. And for the rest, you use your Heart Strike or your Rune Strike. And, yeah, the goal is to survive in this fight. Now, you have a lot of survival cooldowns, even after the patch, as a blood DK. First and foremost, during the first split, what you want to do is you want to pop your anti-magic zone, and after your anti-magic zone expires, not before, you want to pop your Icebound Fortitude. That should give you all the health that you need. Now, the other thing that's interesting in this fight is the chain Earth Shocks. You'll probably notice that the boss Earth Shocks you very, very frequently. This is blocked, as I said, by melee interaction, not melee damage. Meaning, this is why you need to change targets repeatedly, apply Plague Strike on all of them so you can Death Strike any of them during the splits. And if you're applying melee damage via melee interaction, or if you're just melee interacting in general, even if he's parrying your attacks, it's still going to work. And that'll block him from doing the Earth Shocks. Now, for your survival cooldowns, for the first one, you want to pop your Anti-Magic Shell and then your Icebound Fortitude after the Anti-Magic Shell is expired. For the second one, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to pop Anti-Magic Shell because it should be off its cooldown by then, and then pop your Vampiric Blood. Now, also during the second one, typically what you're going to do is you're going to summon a ghoul and Death Pact it as quickly as possible to heal yourself. Notice that I didn't do that in this particular video, but that's because I had some beneficial random number generator effects and didn't need to. So instead I used it to heal myself back up to full health after that. And by the time you get to the third split, you should have your Anti-Magic Shell and Icebound Fortitude up off cooldown, and it should be easier. Now, the rune regeneration bug that I mentioned already is very crippling during this fight. You want to save up your, I forget what it's called, but the 5-minute cooldown that regens all your runes up for a special occasion if you need it. It's very, very important that your runes are off cooldown and you have as many death runes as possible during the splits, or else you're going to take way too much damage and not be able to stop the Earth Shocks in time. So that's very important. Rune management is very important when you're coming across the splits. Again, they happen at every 25% health. and managing your survival cooldowns. Again, the order is Anti-Magic Shell and Icebound Fortitude, and I'll, of course I have my Lesser Flask of Magic Resistance, but no Nature Resist gear. And you can also see that I'm not particularly well geared. I've got my Needle Encrusted Scorpion. I never bothered to put a red gem in. I got my Tabard of Conquest. Got my Favor of the Dragon Queen. Ooh, look at that epic. Elite gear right there. Mainly I just keep it out of pride nowadays, but, you know, because I got it back when it was actually important. And, yeah, that's it. And yes, you did just see an Ashen Band of I am honored with the Ashen Verdict ring. I'm not exalted yet, so yeah. I skipped Blood Parasite for this particular tutorial. There is a way to do it without Blood Parasite via standing in a corner, but like I said, this is still subject to the random number generator effect, and this is a very RNG-intensive fight, and you can still get mind controlled that way. But line of sight will protect you from most mind controls, so yeah. Once again, the survival cooldown order is Anti-Magic Shell and Icebound Fortitude on the first on the first split. Then on the second split, it's Anti-Magic Shell, Vampiric Blood, and Summon a Ghoul and Death Pact it. And by the third split, you should have the Anti-Magic Shell and Icebound Fortitude off cooldown again. And yeah, that's how you do the fight. That's the talent points I used, that's the build I used, and that's my gear. I'm not particularly well geared, and I had no Nature Resist gear equipped, so yeah. This is how you do the fight, without any Nature Resist gear equipped, as a Blood Spec DK in moderate gear. Yeah. Later, YouTube. Hope you enjoy the video.